Okay, everybody, welcome to the fourth and final part of Ask the King, episode 36 for September 5th, 2013. Sorry, there's a little technical flub right there. It didn't play my clip for me. I don't know why. All right, the last batch of questions and then the Q&A questions from the stream chat. These guys are chomping at the bit. They've been waiting for me to pull their questions from the raffle, and we're going to do it. So let's go ahead and get these final questions answered for you, okay? All right, this one is from Facebook. It's from Liam Sillis, and he asks, hold on a second. Where do you see the Hate Live beta podcast going? And what improvements will you consider for it to be out of the beta stage? Similar to John Rambo and OJ's podcast and how they've evolved from an audio-only talk show to now incorporating live callers and music to their show. How will you improve the beta version of your podcast? And what ideas do you have for the podcast to progress? Again, that's from Liam Sillis. Good question, Liam. First of all, as you can see now with this camera that I'm now using, I think I am now to the point now with my vlogs, now that I've solved the frame rate issue that was, by the way, on Hate Live this past Saturday. I apologize for that frame rate issue. I found out what it was. It was because I updated my XSplit program to a newer version. There was a little setting I needed to tweak. People are basically telling me right now the video quality is good now. People at first were complaining when I was using webcams and stuff to do it. Now people are saying the visual quality is pretty good. It's not as good as when I used the Sony camera, but it's close, and because of that, people are liking it, okay? People are loving the segments on Hate Live. So, what I actually did this past week on the impromptu Hate Live that I did on Saturday, I actually asked for some submissions for intros. And I got 2 that were really good, and I'm actually thinking that probably next week I'll get some more. Once I get a set amount of intros and stuff to make it look a little bit more professional, once I've really hammered down the segments, I'll probably take it out of beta and I'll say, okay, this is the full podcast, this is, the official show. One problem I've been having, obviously, is scheduling, because I'm going on vacation, then I do Ask the King, and so the show doesn't happen for a few weeks, and that's a little bit annoying. I would like to do it once a week, but I haven't had the opportunity to do that, okay? Call-in guests are a great idea. I have not instituted that yet, simply because I wanted to get the show into a format where it was working fully and looked great before I said, oh, let's incorporate 10 other new things, too, that may fuck it up. You know what I mean? Now, what I might actually do is start incorporating callers. However, what I would need to do, unfortunately, is get a little bit more acquainted with Skype. Let's put it that way. Right now, I am not very acquainted with Skype at all. I very rarely use it. When I do, it's just to call quickly. I don't even know how to incorporate the video for it. What I need to do is I need to sit down with Rambo, because Rambo uses Skype every week. I need to say, Rambo, how does this work? How do I adjust the volume? How do I make sure everything works with Skype if I were to use it with XSplit? Once I do that, I may start taking live callers during the show. Of course, I would like the callers to obviously be on topic or to be starting an interesting new topic, not just to call in, oh, I'm on the show, and have nothing to say, okay? So that's one thing. In addition to that, I'm always trying to think of new segments and new things to do. And I have a couple ideas, but I don't really want to reveal them yet. I don't know if I'll be instituting them, per se. Guests are always an interesting possibility. At this point, I have not had any guests on the show, because I really haven't felt that I had enough of anything to talk about to invite a guest on the show. You know what I mean? If there is pertinent stuff coming up, then maybe I will have guests on the show to talk about this stuff. We'll have to see what happens in that regard. But right now, really what I'd like to hammer down is let's get the audio-visual quality consistently good, which I feel it is getting to, all right? Probably, this next podcast, Hate Live, if I can do it without a hitch, I think will be good. I need to learn how to use Skype with the XSplit software so that I can easily have callers calling in on topics. And then I think maybe it'll be time. It'll be time to officially move it out of beta into, a formal, this is the podcast. I know a lot of people have been asking me a couple questions regarding availability of the podcast. They said that, can I put it on iTunes? Can I make an MP3 version of it and make it available? All right. The bottom line is this. You could do that right now. First of all, there hasn't been massive requests for that. There have been some requests for the MP3 version, but not a massive amount of people have said, we want the MP3 version, Phil. How dare you? Okay? Right now, you can do it yourself. There are many websites out there. I know I think one of them is like Video to MP3. One of them is keepvid.com. All you do, you take the video URL from YouTube, you type it into there, you click a button, it converts the video automatically to an MP3 that you can easily download and use on any of your mobile devices. So that saves me the time, because if you want it, you quickly spend that time once a week to do it, to get it an audio version, you can listen to it on your device, okay? It would take more time for me to convert the video myself and put it up than for you to just do it yourself. So you might as well just do it yourself. I give you permission with Hate Live to make an audio-only version of it. You know, that's why those websites exist. As for putting it on like iTunes and stuff, let's be honest here. The podcast does well. It gets about 10,000 views on YouTube every episode, and here on Twitch we get around maybe 600-700 viewers usually on the podcast. Sometimes it goes up a little more, 800-900, depending on what I'm talking about on the Hate Live podcast. Is that something that is so popular it needs to be put on iTunes? I don't think so. It's readily available for download if you use any of those programs anyway. So I would say just use that as your method if you need to get it. Need to get it as a file for your. You want to watch it on your iPhone, or you want to watch it on your mobile device, or if you want to listen to it audio only, you can use those websites to do MP3s. I give you permission to do that. Okay. Okay. Next question is from Nicholas DiPietra, and he asks, have you considered doing a live stream of your release day unboxing videos now that you have a camcorder that can do live streaming? Would you consider this idea for the unboxing of the Xbox One and PS4 as a live stream as well? That's an interesting question. Right now I have not done it, and the simple reason is that when I first got this camcorder, before I figured out all the adjustments and everything on it, I did an unboxing video with it, and people hated it. They said, this looks like shit, the color's all off, we don't like it, we want the old camera back. So for now, I brought back the old camera. If I feel confident enough with this camcorder that I can get it to focus, I can get the colors right, you guys can see everything in an unboxing video, I may use it for a future unboxing video, okay? In particular, when you're talking about the Xbox One and you're talking about the PlayStation 4, I may use this to live stream the unboxing of those consoles. That is a very large possibility. I have not said yes or no to it yet. I'm considering it in my head, and I have to figure out if this quality is good enough to do something like that in the future. Okay, so I'm looking into it. No promises yet. It's a possibility, but I really have a definitive yes or no yet, but I'm considering it. Okay? Okay. Brian Burke asks, Phil, do you think it's too soon for a next generation of consoles? I feel that there's still a lot of life left in the current generation. I mean, I agree and disagree. I agree because, as you see, we just had amazing games this year. BioShock Infinite, The Last of Us. Those games looked amazing. So, technologically wise, do we really need more powerful consoles when those games were capable of looking so amazing with the current gen technology? Okay? If anything, I think the problem right now is that, unfortunately, the Xbox 360 uses regular DVDs, not Blu-ray, so it needs a more storage capacity, okay? And I really think that the consoles are, at this point, getting pushed to their limits. So, it's been a good run. It's been 8 years for the Xbox 360. What was it, 7 years for the PS3? They've been around for quite some time. Consoles back in the day, every few years, it was like NES, Super NES, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Wii, like those all came out so fast, back to back to back to back, where it really wasn't a lot of staggering time between them. So for me, this has actually seemed like a long-ass time we've been playing with these consoles. I'm not used to it. You know what I mean? But that being said, I would like to see what they can do with the next generation of technology. Look at some of the stuff Quantic Dream has been doing with the PS4. And remember that demo they did at E3? It looks super hyper-realistic. I'm excited for that stuff. In addition to that, the fact that hopefully games won't need to load for as long as they do now. Maybe you won't have to do long-ass pre-installs. The fact that you'll be able to download games instantly over the internet, and supposedly it's supposed to be fast, on demand. There's a lot of interesting things that they're implementing in this next generation of consoles that I can't wait to see how it's implemented, so I am excited. I actually, after 8 years, I do think it is time for a new line of consoles. Okay? Bobby Lee Murtaugh asks, what are your plans for your crew in GTA 5? Will you divide it into teams since there's so many people in the crew now? If you don't know what he's talking about, right now we have a Rockstar Games multiplayer crew. I think it's called a club or social club. Set up. It's called the Kings of Hate. It is for anticipation of Grand Theft Auto Online coming out in October. Okay? We've got 200 members right now. But every day it's growing more and more. You can search for it right now on the Rockstar Social Club website, or what I'll probably do is in the description of this video, if I remember, I'll put a link to it so that you can go check it out yourself. If you join that social club, when we go to do stuff online, I'll probably announce there, oh, tomorrow we'll be doing this event in Grand Theft Auto Online, so be ready, you know, and we'll see if we can get people coordinated through the social club. I'm not positive if the social club is going to actually tie into the game itself, so we'll be able to go, oh, go to your social club. Oh, look, here's a list of everyone who's online. You can invite people from there. I'm going to have to see. But it's free, and it behooves you to join if you want to be involved in multiplayer games coming up with Grand Theft Auto 5. Whether or not you even get into a game with me, just to be able to play with other viewers and fans, I think it's an awesome opportunity, okay? So definitely check that out. Now, he asks, are we going to be dividing it into teams and such? I don't know yet, because right now, what I need to do is get my hands on Grand Theft Auto Online and see exactly what the capabilities of it are going to be. Once I know, oh, there's this game mode, there's that game mode, this is how the open world works, this is this and that, then I can say, okay, now we can organize events, let's break it up into teams, people can do their different stuff. How cool would it be? Maybe we could do different people do different Suicide Kings and then send me their best of clips, and I could do a montage of that. So it's not just our group, but it's a whole bunch of people involved in it. That could be too. So it'll be pretty epic, and we're going to see how all that works out come October. Okay? And now, the last point I want to bring up, and then we're going to go to the stream chat for about 10 to 15 minutes to do the stream chat questions, is it's become public knowledge this week that in Grand Theft Auto 5, the people who are voicing a lot of the main characters of the game are actual real former gang members and criminals. One of the guys supposedly just got out of jail and then like a couple days later was in the voice acting studio doing voice acting for the game. And people are asking me, what do I think of this? Do I think it adds anything to the game? And I'll be completely honest here. No, I don't think it adds a damn thing to the game. Quite honestly, I think it's a publicity stunt. I think that Rockstar knew that if they did it, that they would get the word out to the press, and people would start talking and start hyping up GTA 5, and that's all it is. Is it really going to matter that it's a criminal or a professional voice actor who did the voice acting for the game? Probably not. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it was just an interesting way to build up hype, and apparently it's working because, look, everyone's talking about it. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead now. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead now and I'm saving something here, hold on. Alright. Let's go ahead and let us put the stream chat into subs only mode so that we can start drawing questions from the raffle. We'll do this for about 10-15 minutes. Okay? It's taking a bit. Hold on. Alright, subscriber only mode, raffle is closed. Let's draw some questions. Alright, shall we draw a question? Please, Ahmad, please draw a question. Here we go. The first question is from GTAV. His question is, what capture device do you use? He forgot the word device, so I added it in there. Right now, I use the HD PVR 2 Gaming Edition capture device. In fact, this very video you're watching is being recorded through that device. It's my camcorder hooked up to my HD PVR, and that's how I do my vlogs now, okay? Now, I have several others. I was using the Roxio Game Capture HD for my PlayStation 3 because the PlayStation 3 has component out. It doesn't actually do live streaming through or capture through the HDMI. It only works through component out because it has this thing called HDCP, High Definition Copy Protection, so it only will allow you to capture through the component out. However, I learned that the new consoles don't have component out, and that at least the PlayStation 3 will have the HDCP. Therefore, I have a bypass setup set up right over here. It's two different devices that basically rip the video and audio out of the HDMI of the PlayStation 3, then recombine it to bypass the HDCP copy protection. I have not done a video on that yet. I'm actually holding off. What I'm probably going to do is do a video on it as we're closer to the release of the PlayStation 4 so that people who want to do direct capture of their PlayStation 4 know how. It's actually quite expensive. The equipment was not cheap by any means, but it's a very complex system. I've got wires going in, going out, splicing audio, realigning audio into a wire over here. It's a real mess. And But you need to do it. If you want to do direct capture of your PlayStation 4, you have to do this. So I will probably be talking about that at a later date. Okay? Next question is from Ultimate Strife. And he asks, would you ever be willing to return to cam footage for recording gameplay? Like maybe once a month, just once, just to see how people react to it. Heck, you could even make it into a new segment called Retro DSP. I think your real fans would love it. I'm not sure what the benefit of that would be. It's actually funny because right now I'm in a new playlist on my YouTube channel, DSP Gaming. It's called Epic Singing. Because I made this video a few weeks ago when I was playing DuckTales, where during the intro of the game I started singing and I improvised the lyrics to the DuckTales theme about how mad I was that the game has these horrible game bugs and kept crashing. People loved it on stream, and so I archived it and I uploaded it to YouTube, and I said, wait a minute, that doesn't really fit in with anything. I need to put that into something where someone will be able to find it. So I put it into a playlist called Epic Singing, and then I asked everyone to please submit your favorite singing moments to me on Twitter, and I would add them to the list. And I have done that. Today some more people submitted some stuff, and I haven't had a chance to add it to the playlist yet, so I apologize for that, but I'll be looking into it, okay? Now, all that being said, okay, when I started adding these videos to the playlist, okay, I actually realized I was looking at them and I was like, okay, Saints Row 4, there's 2 parts that I added. Looking at the video quality, it looks amazing. Saints Row 3, and I started watching, I was like, now that I've been doing direct capture for like, you know, what, March, April, May, June, July, August, so 6 months of direct capture, I really don't like the visual quality of the old videos anymore. I'm pretty much spoiled at this point, you know, of having such great visual quality with all the equipment I'm using. I was looking at it and the colors were washed out and it was getting too bright and too dark, and I was like, you know, for then it made sense. For then I thought it looked good, but now I really think the visual quality has taken a giant step up with the direct capture stuff. So I don't know why I would ever go back to the camera. I don't think there's any kind of a benefit, besides just pure nostalgia factor. Maybe one day for an April Fool's or something I'll do it as a joke, but I don't think I would ever go back to the cam for gameplay footage, at least, because it doesn't look good. It just doesn't. I don't like it. Okay. The next question is from Captain DHN, and he asks, Phil, what's your favorite fizzy diddle? What the fuck? What is a fizzy diddle? I don't even know what that means. So next question is from Krosner Tony, and he asks, how different is the vibe around the PS4 from that of the PS3 when it launched? I wasn't into gaming when it was first announced, and do you think Sony has had a big turnaround? The vibe around the PS3 was that it was just too goddamn expensive. $599 US. That's pricey, man. $599 US, and that's why I think with this Xbox One, why so many people are like, you know, why are we paying $100 extra for something that we don't want? So we don't want this stupid Microsoft Kinect. Why do we have to pay this much money for it? And so the vibe around the PS3 was it's more expensive, but it does have Blu-ray. I think it was really more of a people didn't know. It was really uncertainty at that time. You had your avid Xbox fanboys already who had bought the 360 a year before, but for the PS3 it was kind of like some people who were avid PS2 users who had refused to buy the Xbox 360 because they were, I love my PS2, excuse me, I'm jumping onto the PS3, excuse me, I can't stop burping now. A lot of people were like that, like fanboy mentality. No, it's going to be better no matter what. And it was kind of hit or miss. The Blu-rays were an awesome addition, having more storage space on the disc, not as much, you know, no disc swapping. Being able to watch Blu-ray movies was awesome. But the trade-off was some of the things that weren't so good. The online matchmaking systems, the friend buddy system is not as good as Xbox Live's. Bluetooth sounds like shit on it, and the thing is, everyone thought, oh, Bluetooth, it's great, and everyone ran out and bought Bluetooth headsets, immediately went home, tried to play a game online with Bluetooth, and all you heard was and like, oh my god, like, what happened here? What a train wreck that was. But the games, you know, games that are console exclusives on PS3 were amazing. So it was kind of a weird vibe. It was like uncertainty, and then it just became an incessant fanboy war between the two sides, which is better, which is better. I don't think we're even going to see that this time. This time it's going to be Almost everyone supports the PS4. Very few people are early adopters of the Xbox One, and then gradually the Xbox One will start to gain popularity over time, but they have to somehow wash off the negative association with Don Matrix and all the crap that happened this year, and that's not happening yet. Okay. Next question is from Taylor408. Okay. His question is, will you be on John Rambo's 101st episode of the show? Probably not. I was already on the 100th. I don't see why I have to be on the 101st episode. Wouldn't that be a little bit too quick of a return to the show? You know what I mean? A lot of people who watch the show aren't necessarily fans of mine. They're just fans of John and OJ. I think that having me on every week would be a little bit overload and would probably piss some people off. I'll be on there from time to time when John wants me and he feels that I can add something interesting to the conversation. Okay, next question is from Tobias Alexander. And he says, Phil, since streaming is becoming a massive thing, do you think that YouTube will make changes or just continue making unnecessary updates and not improve or make streaming happen? Well, first of all, streaming is possible on YouTube. I don't know if people even know that because so few people do it, but live streaming is possible on YouTube. The problem is it sucks monkey shit. It's terrible. There's no stream chat. Like right now, you know, we've got 779 people in the chat. We were able to control the chat and manipulate it here on Twitch so that we could have live question and answer. You can't do that on YouTube. On YouTube, there's no chat system. It's actually just people posting comments on the stream. It's absolutely terrible. There's no moderation. They said 100 years ago they were going to allow people to assign moderators and stuff. Never happened. They said that they were going to improve it. Never happened. YouTube basically lied to everyone. They said, here, we're going to put a massive investment into live streaming. They made contracts with certain companies, including Machinima, to try to get people to live stream on YouTube, and they never made it any better. It's garbage. So that's why no one who has the option of streaming between Twitch and YouTube uses YouTube. Okay? The bottom line is, I do have a contract with Machinima right now, that's right, where I can live stream on YouTube, and your views on the live streams I get paid for. In fact, I would get paid way more money live streaming on YouTube than I would live streaming here on Twitch. But I refuse to do it because YouTube's streaming system is shit. I care about the quality of my content, the quality of my videos, the quality of the chat. Let's face it, the chat is a huge part of participating in shows like this. Right now, the questions I'm getting. You couldn't do that on YouTube. So I'm not going to, just for the sake of making more money, I am not going to go to YouTube and stream there, which is what a lot of people did. I'll be honest, the past 2 years, the people who usually streaming on YouTube, they're only doing it because they got a lucrative contract to do it. I have a lucrative contract to do it, and I refuse because it's fucking shit. It's terrible, all right? I'm going to use what's the best for my viewers. Twitch is the best for my viewers. This is where I'm staying for now for live streams. Okay. Next question is from Darkside. What, a fake Darkside Phil. It's Darkside Phil with an I instead of a Y. And he says, what is your AdSense percentage? Well, guess what? I can actually answer that completely honestly without divulging any personal contractual information. My AdSense percentage is 0 because I don't make money off of ads on YouTube through their AdSense program. Machinima does. Machinima makes money on the ads. They pay me per views on the videos. So I couldn't answer you that question because the answer is 0. I make no money on ads. There you go. Next question is from Mexican Duck. And he says, Phil, are you going to buy Grand Theft Auto 5 for both PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360? Right now, my plan is Xbox 360 only. I'm getting the collector's edition of it, and it's going to be Xbox 360 only. That's not to say that if there becomes massive demand, let's say I start playing it with my fans and it's a huge success. The stream's popular, everyone's having a blast, everyone loves it, can't wait till I do more of it. The videos on YouTube are doing well. Everyone's saying we love this. We love it, we love, the content you're putting out with GTA Online. We want it to continue and we want to participate, but we're on PS3. Well, if it's successful, then I'll go buy it on PS3 and I'll do it on PS3 as well. But if it's a flop, you know what I mean? I can't buy extra copies of games when I don't know if it's going to be success. If it's something that people want to watch and they're loving it and they want to participate and everything's good, I'll do it. So that's the bottom line. It all depends on the success of the project. It's going to be an ongoing project for about a few weeks in October where I'm playing GTA Online with everyone and we do different things and we put the videos on YouTube and then I actually take them and make montages like Suicide Kings. We have to see how it does. If it does well, sure. I'd be more than willing to buy it on PS3 and share that experience with everyone. But if people aren't liking it, then there's no reason to do it. It's that simple. Okay. Next question is from Grim Tales. And he says, are you scared of anything, Phil? Now, that's a personal question. Obviously, everyone has their certain fears of things. You know, a lot of people are afraid to die. Obviously, I have that fear. One day we're all going to die. Is there an afterlife? What's going to happen? It's a crazy mindfuck question. So yeah, I'm afraid, technically I'm afraid of dying because I don't know what's going to happen afterwards, okay? I'm afraid of losing my friends and family who I hold dear. Obviously, I'm afraid of massive bodily harm where I wouldn't be able to do any of the cool stuff that I'm able to do right now. So everyone has general fears. If you're asking, do I have any weird fears? Not really. No, I'm not afraid of snakes. No, I'm not afraid of rats or, you know, certain people have these phobias. I am slightly afraid of heights, and it's hilarious because, let me put this in perspective. There are times when I'm perfectly safe. I'm in an elevator that's high up. I'm at the top of a tall building, but I'm indoors. I'm perfectly safe. And I know there's no risk of me falling, but for some reason inside of me, there's this illogical fear of heights. So perfect example, when we were in Chicago a week ago, my girlfriend and I were in Millennium Park, and there's actually this bridge that goes from the park ground level all the way up to the second floor of an art museum. And as you're on it, you're completely, like, elevated. Now, it's perfectly safe. There's railings on the side. It's very, very wide. I was walking through the middle of it up, and all of a sudden, it was like I was short of breath. It was almost like, you know, I'm having almost a mini panic attack, and I start to feel woozy and nervous. And it's just because heights. I don't know what it is. It's always been heights for me for some reason. Have given me, like, the willies. It's a completely illogical fear. I know it's an illogical fear, but I just have it, and I don't know why. It's just something that I've always had. So if anything, like an illogical fear, that's probably the one, okay? Next question is from Insolitus D, and he says, hey, Phil, have you heard about GTA 5 using actual gang members? Oh, I already answered this question. So this was just a case where I actually chose it as a question to answer already, so we'll move on to the next question. Oops. The next question is from Noctis09, and he asks, have you heard about the Shenmue series, and would you consider playing it one day? It plays similarly to Heavy Rain, and I think it'd make a great playthrough. I've heard a lot about Shenmue. Many people over the years have talked to me about Shenmue. I've never had the opportunity to play Shenmue, but if it is anything that eventually there's a reason to maybe go back and play retro games, yeah, it would be a consideration. Okay? Probably one or two more questions, guys, and then we're going to come to a close here. All right, the next question is from Chelsea, of all people, one of my mods, and he asks, Phil, have you decided what your go-to console will be? Just like how the Xbox 360 is your go-to console now, have you decided which one it will be for the future? Well, the bottom line is, it seems that right now there's neither real console has a one-up on the other yet when it comes to features, when it comes to games. They both seem to have solid launch lineups. They seem to have very similar features. Of course, you get the fanboys, but didn't you hear that the PS4 has superior hardware and blah, 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 blah. And you hear the other people on the other side, the Xbox side, well, then you won't get any innovations with the PS4. We're going to have the Kinect and we're going to have this and that. And listen. The consoles aren't even out yet. They're coming out within a week of each other no matter where you live in the world, unless, unfortunately, you live in one of those outside of the 13 countries that the Xbox One's coming out in. You're not getting it till next year. And really, it looks like they're on equal footing. Games, you know, everything-wise. The cross-platform games will be on both. Right now, I'm not going to make any decision. I am not going to make any decision when it comes to what will be my go-to console. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the launches for both PS4 and Xbox One. I'm going to see which controller I like better, which online matchmaking communication system I like better. We're going to go from there. I have to try both and then judge based off of. The reason I like the Xbox 360 over PS3, number one, I had it first, so I'm more accustomed to it. Number two, I do like the controller better. Number three, I like the achievement system. Number four, the online matchmaking and communication is far superior to that on PS3. That's why the Xbox 360 was my go-to console this current generation of games. We'll have to see what system becomes the superior system in the next generation. Okay? Sonic Wii asks, is there any way that you can stop repeat or stupid old questions that were answered a lot? Is there any way to direct them or something? And the answer to that, unfortunately, is no. All right, the next question is from Spartan War, and he asks, what is your most anticipated PlayStation 4 game? Right now, if you're talking launch titles, so what are the launch titles for PS4? Watch Dogs, Knack, Killzone, Drive Club, and a whole shit ton of indie games. Out of those games, I would say Watch Dogs is number 1. I'm really interested to see what indie games are going to be available at launch. And then probably number 3 is going to honestly be Infamous Second Son. That game looks great. It has an interesting premise. I can't wait to see what they're going to put out with that. And Sucker Punch usually does a good job. I'm hoping they do another good job with that one. Okay? Alright. What's his name? Dummalekul? I cannot read this. I apologize, I can't pronounce your name. It's impronounceable. But he asked, can you do a Hateful Truth on movies? The problem is that I don't play movies in a time... I don't play movies. I don't watch movies in a timely manner. I very rarely go to the movie theater to see a movie. This past year I've seen 2 so far, one of which was terrible. The Witches of Salem, or whatever it was. The bullshit of Salem. The other one was The Conjuring. That one was actually quite good. But I don't see movies usually in a timely manner to be able to review. Who cares what my opinion is on Iron Man 3 when I see it this week on demand? I've already fucking, you know, everyone's already seen it who wanted to see it. So I don't have any plans on doing that in the future now. This next one will be the final question, ladies and gentlemen. The final question of Ask the King for this month is... User Pack 180 Splash says, can you give us an idea of what missions you want to create in GTA Online? GTA Online, like I said, what would I like to create? I already made a hypothetical a few weeks back. I said, imagine if there's a high-value target, whether he's supposed to be the president or something, and he's coming in on a jet. And so you got a group of terrorists who have certain limited resources. Their job is to take out all his crew and kidnap the president. On the other side, you're a group of agents, maybe, you know, secret agents that got intel on this, and you're here to save the president. So each side gets a limited amounts of resources. Maybe one side gets a chopper and gets certain guns and certain cars. The other side has certain resources, and it's just you throw it out there and you start the simulation. You have 8 people on, 8 people going nuts, fighting each other, trying to either save or kidnap the president within a certain time period. And if they do it within the time period, they get points. The other side, if they prevent it, they get points. I think that would be a cool game mode. That's just the first idea I have because I don't know what the capabilities of the GTA Online are going to be. Once we get the game in our hands and we find out what the real capabilities are, then maybe we'll do it. I mean, how cool would it be? You're at the airport and there's 10 jumbo jets and you all take off and there's a race from one end of the map to the other in the jumbo jets and you guys are flying and hitting each other in midair and blowing up. It would be fun as hell. It seems like there's so much potential. I don't want to really spoil anything, but I don't know what the potential is until I have the game in my hands. So once I do, that's when we'll figure out what we're going to do with that, okay? All right. So that is it for Ask the King, episode 36 for September. Wow, the very first 4-parter ever, and I talked for 2 straight hours answering your questions. I want to applaud everyone because this month the questions were excellent. And if we can keep up this caliber of interesting, informed questions, I think that Ask the King can be great in the future. So thank you, everyone. Golf clap for you for the great questions that you submitted this month. Thank you whether or not you watched this live on Twitch for the past 2 hours or if you actually watched it on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. We're going to have another one in roughly 1 month's time. I've already announced it on my forums, thekingofhate.com. There's a thread for it already, so if you want to post up your questions for next month, you can head there right now and start posting up your questions. And as always, Twitter, Facebook, I accept questions the day of, and of course the live stream chat questions. So, very good to you, the viewer. I applaud you, viewers, this month. We had great questions. You learned new personal information about me that I never revealed before, and I'm feeling great. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a good day. I will see you next month for Ask the King, and of course, I'll see you this week for new gameplay. Thanks a lot. Peace out.